Hey everybody, give us some time here. We're going to push this around. Haven't tweeted yet, but we're about to share the link everywhere, and then we're going to be kicking off today's Secret Spaces with the Stash app team. We do Secret Spaces every Tuesday. This Tuesday is no exception. June 21st edition of Secret Spaces, we're discussing secret badges, secret NFTs, and more with the Stash app team, also featuring other members of the secret community. We're going to be just having a big open discussion about what can be done with secret NFTs and secret badges in particular. We'll explain what they are, what we've been trialing with them, how they're going to tie into the secret agents program, how they'll tie into Stash, how they'll tie into pretty much everything we want to be happening on the network, and why they are such a good vehicle for telling our story around the importance of privacy in Web3. Give us a couple minutes while we stack the stage with some great people. Please do us a favor. If this is a topic that's interesting to you, please share this link around in your communities, especially if they're collecting secret NFTs or NFTs on any network. This should be a great discussion today. Anybody who is thinking about secret NFTs, interested about badges, etc., more than welcome to join on stage today. But we'll be adding first the Stash team and then other folks. Just stick your hands up if you like. Let's give it a couple more minutes before we kick off in earnest. Again, do us a favor if you're just piling in here, grab the link to this space, just copy it, drop it in any Telegram community that you have where people are curious about Secret Network or our metaverses and our NFTs and all the things that privacy can do for you in Web3 and all the things we're unlocking as a network that haven't been possible on other L1s. We're going to be exploring all of that today. Also, Patrick, if you're able to come up here, I figured you'd be the best person to talk about Spaces badges, because those are fun. So keep an eye out also in the secret Discord. If you're in there on Twitter, we'll be giving some more information about how to start claiming them, especially if you've never used a secret NFT. This is a great way to just get onboarded. And if you're coming from elsewhere in the cosmos, you can just use Kepler. If you are coming from any other community, great reason to get Kepler and get started with the multi-chain universe. Let's kick off in just 1 second. But Patrick, was there anything we should tell people right at the top here about badges in particular for Spaces?
Yeah, so we're releasing a badge for attending this secret space. And if you look at the latest tweet from @Secret Network, you should see the link to the NFT on Stash as well as the redemption code. And we'll leave redemption open for probably a few days at least for this first episode. But in the future, we may make it a little more exclusive, make it so that you have to actually attend the space and redeem it live. We'll see what we want to do with that. But yeah, go check out the tweet, click the link to Stash, connect your wallet, and use redemption code STASH, and you will get a secret badge for attending this space.
With 2 H's.
Stash.
With 2 H's. Yeah, this is a very unguessable code today. But yes, we'll actually also have a chance to talk on the space a little bit about what we learned on the ground in Austin, getting agents activated with badges and starting to show what could be possible in the future and today with secret NFTs. So I think we're 5 minutes past the hour. Let's kick it off. We've got 4 members of the Stash team on stage today. Actually, we'll go and we'll do some quick introductions. Patrick is up here with me as well. Like I said, if you're interested in speaking and sharing your own experiences with secret NFTs or badges, stick your hand up, and then we can add you to the stage. We can do it now or we can do it later on, but people have already been experimenting with this primitive, and it's super exciting to see what people can do with secret NFTs and badges in particular. Maybe the first question people are going to have is what the hell they are. But so let's start at the top. Let's do some quick intros for who's on stage here. And then we'll get into what a secret badge is and why we decided to start experimenting with them as a network, but also with Stash in particular. So let's start with anybody, I guess, on the Stash team who wants to stick their hand up and self-introduce. I'll go last, but one of you three may be scary looking. You're in the best position.
go on, I'll say hello. Yeah, so I'm scary looking. If you've spoken to the Stash App account or you've listed the collection, you've probably spoken to me at some point. Like officially, I do DevOps for Stash, so I make sure the servers go bleep bloop, which is always an interesting task. But I do all kinds of random stuff. So yeah, glad to be here.
Sweet. Great.
I am Clipart, the app lead developer for Stash, and I'm also excited to be here, of course, to talk about badges and the future features we might have planned.
And I guess my turn. I'm Badrick. I basically wrote all the smart contracts that Stash uses. So pretty much everything that is running on the chain. And also, I'm the inventor of Secret NFTs, the SNP 721 specification and reference implementation. So I'm also available on Discord, primarily on Discord, but Discord and Telegram. So if anybody has any specific like dev questions regarding Secret NFTs, I'd respond to DMs with to answer any questions. And also, I'm happy to be here to speak as well.
Well, sweet. Thanks for joining up, guys. I am Tor. I'm the founder of Secret Foundation. I like to host these things from time to time, but I'm also one of the founders of Stash. And it's been a pleasure working with the entire core Stash team on scaling up the platform, launching interesting products, getting to know better the creator and collector community that we've already attracted to Secret. But obviously, we want to be a big part of the Secret NFT universe for a long time to come. And it's been really exciting seeing other projects emerge in the Secret NFT space that have even bigger ambitions than Stash. For example, we've worked pretty closely with the Legend DAO team, which is underneath Secret Labs, what they're doing with creators to onboard them into Secret, like the biggest name creators in the world, doing the most interesting experiments, most recently with Kevin Smith releasing Kilroy Was Here, his new movie, as a Secret NFT, which is crazy and has never been tried or done. That's super exciting to see. So what is the role of secret NFTs and secret badges and Stash and all this? We'll get into all of that, but I keep teasing that badges are a thing we should be talking about. So let's start at the top. What even is a secret badge? I'll explain that, and then we'll go into a little bit what we've been trying to do to experiment with them as a primitive at Stash. So a secret badge is another secret NFT. And if you've missed these before, if you've never collected a secret NFT is like a regular NFT, except much, much better. And actually how every NFT should work. Regular NFTs, boring old NFTs, are fairly shallow. They have public by default ownership, public by default metadata. Essentially, everybody just uses them to flex on people. And in a bear market, that's really not that fun and not that cool. And we think that NFTs can be a ton more. But it turns out a network like Secret is exactly the foundation we need for this sort of digital ownership economy of non-fungible tokens. So with Secret, you get privacy by default for ownership, and you can have both public and private and sometimes protected metadata fields. It's this new degree of programmability that actually unlocks most of the use cases people are saying NFTs can unlock around digital identity and reputation and ownership and creator culture. And none of that is really going to scale on public by default networks because it's a very shallow primitive. But on Secret, it's very deep. And because of that, we don't just have PFP projects launching on Secret, 10K collections or things like that. We have really interesting experiments from, not just games and gamified assets, but, things that are really leveraging the fact that you can have protected or private metadata that only some users, potentially just the owner, can access or share. And of course, as we get more and more of the physical world or the internet moved to the NFT space, and the more valuable things we're doing with NFTs, the more we have to be concerned about, is all of this exposed publicly by default? Especially if you start to do things that are supposed to represent our identities and our experiences. You want to be able to control what is shared and what is not. So secret NFTs are that primitive, and secret badges are a way for you to, just for doing things you're already doing or for experiencing things, or for forming a creator collector connection. All these things, they're essentially just free to mint secret NFTs. That's the simplest thing. But they also have some interesting traits. You can make them transferable or non-transferable. You can put things in the private metadata or not. You can have things. Really, it's just this degree of programmability that's not relying on the idea that you're going to be paying thousands of dollars at a time to start getting onboarded with an NFT ecosystem. With public by default NFTs, there's kind of this expectation, because they're just kind of shallow flex objects. They don't really let you do anything interesting. So there's this constant pull towards needing to make money on them, needing to do it like as an artist, make something and then sell it to somebody for more, who sells it for more, who sells it for more. That is not a sustainable creator economy. We need to be able to use NFTs, especially on Secret, where we pride ourselves on sustainability. You need to be able to use NFTs in a way where the user's not being asked to pay thousands of dollars up front before they derive any value. And the user's expectation isn't to make a ton of money, but to unlock experiences or communities, or just represent their own reputation in a way that then becomes valuable, because these are things that you're earning over time. Our only principle with badges is that, yes, you could do this on any layer one, but you shouldn't do it on a public by default layer one. Like, we're big fans of POAPs and what's been built out in the ETH space. And if you haven't gotten a POAP ever, they're proof of attendance protocol. They're ETH NFTs or layer two ETH NFTs that you claim, and then you hold them. The problem is that then it sits in your wallet and everybody knows that you have them. So it's very publicly identifiable in a way that doesn't give you any control. You don't get to say, I'm going to share these POAPs and not others. By default, you have to share all of this with every user on the network, anybody who inspects the blockchain. Secret is the ideal foundation for exactly this idea of proof of attendance or proof of reputation, proof of experience, because it's private by default. And that is an expectation that we should have in the Web3 world, building private by default for this primitive. But it's just a primitive, right? Badges can be anything. They can represent anything. You could earn them for doing anything. In fact, as Patrick said up top, if you're listening to this space, you can claim a badge just for having listened to it. You just need to know the claim code, go to Stashh and type it in. So if you're listening and you haven't claimed it yet, they are scarce. So go and grab it. Claim code is STASHH. The link we tweeted out, you'll be able to go and claim that while you're listening to this space. Just a great way to get started with secret NFTs. If you never have, you can claim that badge. You can see what's in it, because you don't know what's in the private metadata until you claim it. And you never know what it's going to unlock for you in the future. So that's your badges primer. That's the relationship with Secret and secret NFTs. So what does this all have to do maybe with Stashh? Since we've got 3 members of the Stashh team here, we can start. Maybe it's best to start with either you, Scary Looking, or Clip Art. If you guys want to talk about what have we been experimenting with on platform at Stashh to help onboard users into Secret Network, to get them to start using secret NFTs and badges in particular. How are we using badges to teach users about what's possible on Secret and how it's different from any other layer one that they might have experienced to date?
Cool. Yeah, so I think really most of the stuff around that is like reducing the barrier to entry for anybody who wants to, who wants to get involved in the Secret Network, because with a badge, you don't have to go through the hoops of setting up and funding a wallet. You can literally go along to an event, find your badge, go and claim it, and then next thing you know, you're using Stashh, you're browsing around, you're involved in the ecosystem, you kind of already got the hook in a way, and then after that, then you're more incentivized to go and fund your wallet and explore more. So really, we've just been focusing on trying to build awareness of badges inside of the community, find people who want to set up badge collections, and producing a couple of our own. So we did try to launch one at Decentral in Austin, but a courier company who will not be named kind of screwed us over. I'm not mad. I'm honestly not mad.
It's good. It's good that we're already over it. And to be fair, we did successfully onboard a lot of people on the ground, not only with the Stashh badges, but with the secret agent badges as well. That was a really good in-person activation, and it took a lot of hard work. Maybe when you're done, we can ask, like what it took. We can talk to Clip Art. Like, what did it take to create this kind of mobile first experience for being able to claim badges. It's one thing, obviously, to be able to log in on desktop and do things in the Web3 space, but we have been thinking pretty hard about what does the future look like for mobile experiences, and certainly we were trying to see if we're there yet. I think there's certainly room for improvement, but it was great to at least be able to experiment.
Yeah, for sure. So one of the mobile aspects that we tried to build in was that obviously Kepler doesn't work on mobile, so we built a kind of experimental claim process where if you're on a phone and you're not connected to Kepler, Stashh will locally, without sending anything off to Stashh, it'll locally generate a wallet for you, populate that wallet with a badge, and then give you the mnemonic so you can go home and import that wallet, and you've got your badge, you've got your wallet, you're ready to go. So yeah, that was quite cool. As I'm just waiting to see if Clipart's unmuting. Yeah, no. So he's asking to speak. I think he's. Oh, there we go. Yeah, he's back.
No, yeah.
I was vamping slightly there for a minute.
No, yeah, that's basically what we try to do, and it's a barrier that we don't need to focus anymore, just because, yeah, of course, we don't really have wallets on mobile just yet. We will have it soon once Starshell comes up. We are partnering with them to actually make Stashh mobile as well, and that's a big step for us as well, and it will be cool to see, and it will have a lot of new features that Secret Network actually requires to be mainstream all the soon. But about the badge, yeah, you basically just create a wallet there and then. We save the mnemonic key only to your device. We don't save the mnemonic key anywhere else, and you can claim a badge and go home and import that wallet, see what's inside the private metadata. And one of the main features I like about badges, just like POAPs, like an achievement for something or a proof of attendance. On Secret Network, you can actually have private metadata, right? So you can create badges where you go to a conference and you meet a badge there, and at the end of the day, that badge can have on the private metadata that's only for you to see the talks that happened on that conference. So basically, you mint a badge and you go home, you rest, and if you want to see the talks again from that conference, you, as the owner of the badge, can actually see them on the private metadata, and I think that's pretty cool. Yeah, go ahead, Sky.
I was going to say there's really like no end to how you can chop and change badges and use them. So like one thing we considered is, again, like with a conference, so you mint your badge whilst you're there, and then the private metadata contains the QR code that they scan at the door to the conference after party, and that's how you get in. It's your access pass on the door. Those are kind of fairly basic use cases, like because under the hood this thing is basically an NFT. It comes with all the flexibility and all the privacy from Secret Network, so there's just thousands of potential use cases.
Yeah, one thing we're trying to do by using the name badge here is to get people thinking differently about the potential of non-fungible assets in the crypto Web3 space. The challenge that I've seen is once somebody gets in their head what an NFT is, and they're like, I know what an NFT is, it's an ape. I know what an NFT is, it's a speculative vehicle for value, and it's a 1 of 10K collection. Once somebody gets in their head that they know what an NFT is, because NFTs on every other layer 1 work exactly the same, whether it's an ETH NFT, Solana NFT, all these things, right? Like they fundamentally at the blockchain level work exactly the same. They're just a smart contract on the network. They're a non-fungible asset. You know exactly how many have been issued, and like that's basically it. It's a digital scarcity use case that's mostly used to, as we said up top, flex on other people. But a secret badge, and we're saying badge specifically to talk about these free to mint assets that could be non-transferable or could be transferable, but with a flag that shows if it's been transferred. Like this degree of programmability for non-fungible assets is ridiculous, has never before been achieved in the Web3 space. And it's a completely new design space that we're trying to socialize with creators and collectors so that they at least start playing around. And as we said, they don't cost $1,000 to get involved in. Like, just by coming to this secret space, you can claim your first secret badge. And with that secret badge, maybe you can unlock access to a Discord channel, or just through your ownership without needing to dox it on chain. Or maybe there's something in the private metadata that will give you instructions or a hint or a video or like anything, honestly. But you have the confidence of knowing that's only decryptable by you as the owner. That degree of programmability has never existed. And I think people underestimate just how powerful of an idea this is. It's just a completely new layer of this composable, programmable privacy design. Like this is not something that is being experimented with right now in any other network ecosystem. So it's really fun to push forward on it. Since Badrick's here as well, and we've already gotten to talk a little bit about badges and what we've done to date, what's your experience been as well? Maybe speaking more from the developer side, like what are other underexplored opportunities do you think, or where have you seen the most potential as you've been building out at the contract level some of this stuff? Clearly, we're only scratching the surface of what's possible at a smart contract level, even though because we're just starting with standards. Users want standards, creators want standards, but as developers, maybe we want this additional degree of programmability to do even cooler stuff. What are the sort of things you've been thinking about, Badrick, as you've been helping build out this functionality for Stashh and for the network at large?
Well, I guess honestly, like I personally, even when I first created the Secret NFT standard, I was always kind of more interested in seeing where utility NFTs would go with this, as opposed to the art NFTs. Now, granted, don't get me wrong, I love the PFPs and all the projects that we've seen so far, but I definitely am excited to see what with this out in the wild, what people develop more as utilities. And so, like, some of the things that we've seen is like, for instance, there was one community spend proposal that is basically using secret NFTs for basically, I think they're creating a lending platform where the promissory note is going to be a secret NFT, and then you can basically sell a loan that you've already lended out if you needed to kind of make that more liquid sooner. Some other interesting things that I would like to see are kind of like identity based, like if you want to use it for credentialing, or even if, like, for example, if somebody wanted to build a service on Secret Network where they are doing KYC, they could actually provide KYC as a service, where any apps that are using this service will know that this platform, this product, has done KYC for them. And if it's an app that could utilize KYC, it's just something that multiple apps would be able to share without having to take on that extra burden of implementing KYC themselves. I believe there's also I think there's a group, I don't know if they've created any proposals yet, but there is a group who is planning on using secret NFTs and presumably badges specifically to represent like certification credentials for like passing like certain coursework certifications, stuff like that. Like, another interesting thing would actually be utilizing it for private information, like, as an example, sort of you could utilize it for something like even medical records, since you can keep it private. It would be a way that you can actually have your own personal control of your medical records and be able to share it with a new doctor you go to without actually having to worry about one one old doctor having to basically provide that information to the new one. Like, it's basically something that you can then have control of yourself. Like, obviously, that something like that would be pretty far into the future, but it is a possibility with secret NFTs in general, and badges specifically.
It's crazy. We've gone from being like, well, you came to this secret space and now you can claim your very first badge, to this could revolutionize how we do health data sharing. It's all the same primitives. It's all the same things that are enabled at layer one with secret. And that's the wonderful thing about the Web3 space, is that we're just handing people the tools to create these incredibly complex and revolutionary applications. What people decide to do with that is really up to them. And what we as collectors and creators decide, to do next is probably going to drive the direction for how the entire NFT space evolves. So again, we're doing something different here on Secret. It's not something that's possible in other layer one ecosystems. It's worth experimenting with, not necessarily because it's about to make you millions of dollars, but just because these are experiences you can't have on any other network. And we're working really hard to try to improve them as fast as we can. So speaking of those improvements, right, we recently had the Shockwave Alpha mainnet upgrade. We've got more mainnet upgrades coming through the rest of the year, all directed at improving both performance and interoperability. So performance-wise, we've already seen a ton of improvements from earlier this year. Basically, this time last year, doing a mint on the network like we saw with Anons essentially froze the chain. And now things are completely different, right? There's been a ton of optimizations and improvements. Obviously, different contracts have different degrees of optimization, but the network itself and queries in general are so much more performant now. And if you've been missing the Secret Labs comments from previous spaces, the improvements are continuing to come, as well as some interoperability focused improvements, such as CosmWasm 1.0, getting to cross-chain contracts and cross-chain contract calls. Something that's really exciting, and I don't know if any of you guys want to speak to this, but this idea of cross-chain contract calls utilizing secret NFTs is really, really, really powerful. That cross-chain contracts are basically where secret reaches that state that we've always said, not just a privacy network, but a privacy hub, something that's not only a powerful layer one, but privacy as a service to potentially every other Web3 chain, starting with IBC chains, but then of course expanding as more and more chains adopt this standard. So there's a ton of things happening for us at layer one that we're just trying to figure out what can we do at the app layer so that users can now touch more and more of this awesome functionality. So that we aren't keeping this just an academic project or just some sort of enterprise focused endeavor. We want to build things that millions of users are going to actually touch on a regular basis. And we do want those to be enjoyable, emotional experiences. Even today, beyond cross-chain interoperability, any network can be making use of secret NFTs, or maybe secret badges in particular. So one obvious use case here, even without building a bridge or sending messages between chains, one obvious use case is, let's say you've got an ETH-based NFT collection and you want to reward everybody in that collection. You could have a system where everybody holding, however you're currently communicating to this user base, anybody who's currently holding one of these ETH-based NFTs can claim a secret NFT, and only somebody holding an ETH NFT in his collection can claim that secret NFT. You're not necessarily bridging that NFT and creating some sort of synthetic substitute for the original asset. There's some risk involved in that, or maybe people are just comfortable where they already are. But essentially, you're authenticating yourself as an owner, and you can mint yourself, let's say, a non-transferable secret badge to prove ownership. And now that badge becomes your credential anywhere without needing to constantly, use your ETH-based NFTs to log in, or, there's all sorts of ways that you can have, because the social layer of NFTs isn't always on chain. Secret can be the best possible connective tissue for all of these different communities. And we do have projects like Alter, for example, building privacy preserving communication that's enabled by Secret as a layer one chain itself. All of these things are starting to come together. I don't know, maybe you guys want to talk about, like, how have we thought about composability for Stashh with some of these other applications in the secret ecosystem, or also how have we thought about composability with other blockchains? Because we're constantly trying to bring people into the secret universe. Badges are just one way. What else have you guys been thinking about building bridges to these other ecosystems and also these other communities?
So about the bridges, we think it's a really cool way to actually introduce new data to already existing collections outside of Secret Network. Let's say any collection on Ethereum or Solana, they are all public by default, right? So if we actually give the access for the creator of that collection to make another collection on Secret Network, where the NFTs are equal from the Solana network, but now with private metadata, we can then allow users that actually own a Solana NFT to bridge that Solana NFT to Secret Network. And now that Secret NFT has all the public metadata that he had on Solana, but he also has the private metadata that the collection creator decided to add, whatever that might be. But it's a really cool way to introduce more usability to already existing collections that can't really have this feature. We just need to think of use cases for that. I mean, there's a lot of them, but it needs to come up from actual creators, and that's an exciting part to see where this might evolve to. So bridges, that's probably the way we are. That's the way we are thinking on doing bridges, and we already have the contracts for that on the Terra. For a Terra bridge, we already have a Terra contract to bridge NFTs from Terra to Secret Network, and we already have the Secret Network contract to lock your secret NFTs, and on the Solana and on the Terra side, lock the Terra NFTs once you bridge back in or back out, basically. So there's always only just one NFT going around. The other part will be locked. So if you switch your Terra NFT to Secret NFT, you will unlock the Secret NFT. If you go back, you will lock the Secret NFT and unlock the Terra NFT. That's the architecture we are thinking on doing, and that's what we already started on doing. That's probably the architecture we're going to adopt for future chains as well. Just because it's much easier to let a collection creator to actually create a new collection and add private metadata on top, instead of just doing a copy of an already public metadata that's on the other chain, right? Because we actually want to incentivize people to add private metadata to their already existing NFTs on other chains. If you only did a copy of the public metadata, I mean, it's just like any other bridge, right? It really won't give that much value to the secret NFT itself, just because everything is public already. But yeah, that's basically our thoughts on bridges and how we're going to do them.
Great. Yeah, it's exciting because again, like we already have the contracts done for at least one chain, helping a lot of these Terra projects get onboarded into the secret ecosystem where we have a lot of commonalities. But we can acknowledge that the very largest L1 NFT ecosystems are, I think, in this exact order, but I'm rounding: Ethereum, Solana, Polygon, and then you get into things like Flow and other EVM chains and things. But there's really no reason, especially with the unique functionality that we're introducing, that Secret shouldn't be right up there on adoption with these other chains, at least the non-Ethereum chains, just because Ethereum, obviously, this usage dates back to 2017 and likely before. But we're looking to see more creators from other networks come in and start experimenting. And we don't want them to be thinking that this is anything but additive. We're not trying to ask people to give up these other ecosystems. We're just saying you need to experience what's possible on Secret that's not possible elsewhere. We're giving you something that can't be anywhere else. And badges are one great way to express this, not just to the creators, but their communities. Other use cases that we haven't even touched on, right, include things like, we've actually talked a little bit about it, but I'll elaborate, right? The exclusive content use case of you are a creator, you're a YouTuber, you're a tweeter, you're a newsletter creator, you're a book writer, whatever you are, but being able to give a secret badge that's claimable by your readership and then giving them a little bonus of the exclusive content within the private metadata of that. I mean, that's just a really cool thing to be able to do with an NFT in a very simple way that's mediated by the blockchain. There's ways to do this on other L1s, but they usually mean like you're doing something really centralized, or there's something you're doing that's going to break composability, or you're asking users to, when they interact with your application, dox themselves to everybody. There's a very, very large subset of use cases for badges where users really want what you have, but they don't want to have a public by default NFT representing that ownership. They would do it and have a private by default NFT, private by default for their ownership, and then they would still want to be able to claim whenever they want, show or prove whenever they want that they've claimed the badge. That's most use cases. The vast majority of use cases, I think, for things like badges would want to be private by default to start with. So we just want to start showing people what's possible, give them a little taste. But one thing, I'm going to throw this open to the Stashh team as well. One thing that was talked about in our ecosystem recently and was actually brought up internally at Secret Foundation recently by John, who's on the call here, and I asked him if he wants to talk, but so I'm going to send him one more invite to speak. But these ideas about what does it look like to have a secret NFT in your wallet, and you want to be able to show something off publicly, or you want people to be able to visit your wallet and see what's in it. How is Stashh thinking about that exact user story? Like, as a user, let's say I've claimed 30 secret badges. 20 of them I want to show off. I want to flex. I want to say, these are the conferences I've been to. I've been to every secret space for the last 10 weeks. I want to be able to show it off. But then there's others that I don't want to show off public by default. I want them to be private until I have to log in with them, let's say, to access an application or access a Discord channel, but I don't want them in the same wallet that I've been using to access everything else. So how are we thinking about that experience for the user? How is Stashh making it possible to be one user doing all of these things on Secret or in the real world and having that degree of control over their assets and over their experiences and over their identity and reputation?
Scary, you want to talk about this?
I was just going to mention the Pokemon badges thing, because I think that kind of nicely sort of encapsulates the way that we've been thinking about it. So, as you mentioned, there's going to be stuff that you want to show off and the stuff that you don't. So the the analogy that we used internally was like when you beat a gym master in Pokemon, you get a badge, and that badge goes into a nice little display case, and you can show it off, and it looks great. And there's loads of kind of kudos around it. So a lot of our shaping internally has been, a lot of our thinking internally has been shaped around that. So how do we build out mechanisms for showing off what you want to show off and for hiding what you want to hide? It's definitely something that we're still thinking about, and it's something that we're kind of gathering information about through these initial badge launches. So kind of how people interact with them, how they show them off online, how they talk about them, that kind of stuff. I don't know if that covers what you were going to say.
It covers, yeah. So basically, we will have a list of badges that a user owns, and we will allow him to just decide whatever he wants to put on his public profile to showcase or flex what he actually owns. So besides, actually, because the ownership is private by default on most badges, the owner can decide to actually switch the ownership to public and Once they do that, they can decide which public badge they add into their profile on Stash. But that's basically how we are thinking on doing the feature. But yeah, again, we are still gathering information to see how people actually interact with them and what's a good use case for showing off badges and how that could be achieved. Besides just attendance, this can be pretty much an achievement as well, right? Either you are playing a game and you win a badge because you got an achievement on that game. For instance, one of the features we'll have soon is weekly puzzles, where you can, and this is a really good use case for private metadata and secret NFTs. You can basically buy tickets for a weekly puzzle, and that ticket is basically an NFT where in the private metadata it has the hints to solve the puzzle. So you buy the ticket, you get the private metadata, you solve the puzzle, you place your answer somewhere, and if it's correct, you after 1 week we basically distribute the prize pool that was that came from the sales of the tickets, basically. So once you do that, we can also mint a badge for you as an achievement. So like puzzle solver of weekly stash for something like that, and then you can flex that badge if you want to. Besides actually winning money with it, I guess. So that's one of the features that we'll have soon on Stash. But yeah, I don't know if you want to talk about the other features, but just beside badges. But if you want to end up the badge conversation and talk the features later, it's cool by me.
So just to add a little bit of context, if for anyone who hasn't played with Stashh that much, so when you authenticate your wallet with Stashh, we build a profile for you. It's entirely optional if you want to fill that out or not. But if you do, it's a really neat way to show off some of the NFTs that you want to show off, but also badges. So one of the things we've been looking at is, how do we separate badges from NFTs in that profile view? And how do we kind of highlight things like achievements? So you could have, for instance, a game where all the achievements are secret badges. How would you show off that you've got 50 of the 100 that are available, for instance? Like those are all the kinds of questions that we're trying to answer. Because we sort of started off thinking, okay, badges are like a subclass of secret NFT. That's nice and straightforward. We can work with that. When we know that something's a badge, we display it differently. Yep, cool, done. But the more we got into it, the more we realized that there's lots of different use cases within that as well. So a secret badge you get for going to a conference is different to a secret badge that gives you access to a co-working space, and that's different to a secret badge that is an achievement. So we're kind of trying to think through how we provide kind of UI that works for those cases.
Well, one thing I'll point out too, and this is sort of the last Stashh specific thing that I want to make sure we get into. And by the way, this is usually the time in Secret Spaces where we open up the floor. So if you've got a question or a suggestion or idea or anything at all, stick your hands up now. I'll start adding people to the stage. The one thing I wanted to say is maybe to answer a question that hasn't been asked is like, so what is the role of Stashh in all of this? We're not calling these Stashh badges, obviously. Like this is very much a network-wide standard. And as Scary Looking is pointing out, there's like 80 million different ways that you can use secret badges as a primitive and as a standard. So what is Stash's role in helping to enable or mediate all of these different use cases? My personal perspective, I'll start with, if you don't mind, Ollie, and then I'll hand it back to you, and then we'll start accepting some of these speakers. My personal perspective is that Stash's role is to be where you discover badges and all these opportunities with secret NFTs, where you trade them, like we already do with our marketplace. It's also going to be it's going to be a place where you can manage your inventories. I mean, it's right in the name. This is the place where you want to keep and secure all of the different pieces that you've accumulated through your usage of Secret Network, or through your real world and Web3 experiences where you're happening to use Secret as your store of reputation and identity over time. Secret Agents is going to have a ton of use cases for secret badges, and Stashh will be a part of that flow for agents most likely, but so will a lot of other applications in the network. And Stashh does not need to be a universal ticketing platform. There could be a designated ticketing platform built on Secret. I know at least of one in development where they're optimizing for that experience. Just like somebody could launch a dedicated music NFT platform on Secret that makes use of all of these different standards. It's just that in any ecosystem of any scope, of any size, something in the position of something like Stashh, right? There's usually one community, one home where people discover each other, where they discover new opportunities, where they centralize to talk about opportunities, to discuss all of these awesome things. That's what we want Stashh to be, is a gathering ground. But we certainly want to see people take these standards and run off all over the network and figure out how they're going to apply these standards and all of the potential of these primitives to their own projects, where they can have a ton of focus maybe on a single vertical or a single community, or maybe an even greater focus on something like interoperability, or an even greater focus on something like real world, physical world activations, right? So we're here as experts, Stashh App, in the early stages of onboarding people into these primitives. And we want to be your partners in whatever platform or community or PFP project or game or whatever. We want to be your partners in bringing these things to life on Secret. And you can absolutely leverage everything we've already built in doing that, leveraging our platform and community and all of our work with standards. So you don't have to keep reinventing the wheel. But yeah, we don't necessarily need to do everything, but we do need to do a few things really well, which is why we've put a lot of work into the badge creation, badge claiming, badge management experiences for users on the network. Anything that you guys from Stashh side, Ollie, you can go ahead. And then just to note, I've added 2 people up on stage here. So after you're done, I'm gonna open up the floor for Emir and then Developer.
Cool. Yeah, no, I think that pretty much hits the nail on the head. Like we don't want to be trying to do 100 different things, because all that's going to happen is we'll do 100 different things badly. So we're really interested in being the nucleation point around which people build experiences with badges. And that means that we don't want to be a centralized point of control. Really, all we've done is proposed an extension to the standard and a couple of extra bells and whistles that sit on top of it. And we call that a badge. We provide some management UI, we provide some guidance, and then we kind of shout about how great they are and, try and convince people to build their use cases with badges and see where they go. So I guess if Stashh could be seen as a kind of liquidity creator for NFTs, we're kind of an attention pool for secret badges. Maybe that's a bad analogy, but we want to see people build with them, definitely.
Awesome. Yeah, I think we're all on the same page, at least with Stashh. And I think as a network, we're on the same page of seeing we need to build stuff that millions of people are going to be using. And the easiest way is to give them something for free, but that's still going to be super valuable. So thanks again, Stashh team. I mean, let's stay on stage. Let's answer questions. Let's ask questions. But we've got Emir, you're first, and then Developer or Developer, whichever way you want to say it. But that's the order that I got you guys up here. So that's the order we should go.
Yes. Hi, everyone. Hi. I see the viral team there. Hi. Hello. How are you doing? I had a question. Actually, it's for Bedrick, I think, because I was brainstorming the other day with a couple of friends, and we tweeted about this. And Ertaman said to reach out to Bedrick, but he did not tag, so I didn't know who you are. So my question is basically the main issue a little bit with the NFTs is the liquidity. And so, for example, I say like an example, Anon is let's say is 2000 secret. Is there a way to do it like kind of like a loan through you guys, that the seller will get like a down payment and then each month, kind of like the way you buy a car or something? like a contract. I don't know anything of this dev stuff and all that, but like you'll pay like a $2,000 secret, 2,000 secret, pardon me, anon, and you pay $1,000 secret upfront, and then 200 for 5 weeks, and something like that. That was the first question I had for you, Bedrick. And the second one, please, is for example, sometimes the osmosis is stuck. You know that it's pending. The transaction is pending and whatnot. So you want to buy your you want to buy NFT, but it takes a little bit of time. So is there like maybe a feature to do like even not like maybe DEX, but yeah, so sort of like we can swap some Atom for secret right away on Stashh right directly. So instead of going through osmosis or Juno swap like this. Thank you.
Okay, so with the first question, that is not something that Stashh is working on, but I think I had mentioned that there was a community spend proposal that had gone out and was approved, where this project is building a lending platform where like they would actually be using NFTs to represent the promissory note. Well, that same project is also actually planning on basically providing lending for NFTs as well. I don't know exactly what they're planning on implementing in that regard, but it does sound like what you're describing could be something that falls under what they're trying to accomplish. But I don't know for sure. There's let me see if I can find the name. The main person for that is I think it's his Discord handles like Soundtrack or Sandman Soundtrack or Sandman SRDTRK. But you could ask him whether the type of kind of loan for purchasing NFTs is something that they're building.
There's a channel on the Secret Network Discord server called Cover. I believe that's the application he's talking about.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, thank you. Because there's on Solana, there's something. It's not quite similar. It's actually it's a lending platform, but you put your NFT as collateral and you lend. You borrow some. You borrow the Sol and then you can do whatever. But this is another way of kind of. But I will try to reach this guy soundtrack and Cover. And about the swap feature for to swap directly on Stashh, something like that. Is that something doable or?
That's I'll have to check, honestly. Right now, the only way for you to swap anything from Secret is to Secret. Just because everything lives on Secret Network. But about Atom, since it's Atom to Secret and then to Secret to buy an NFT, it will require cross-chain contracts or some centralized platform. So I'll need to take a look into it. But it's definitely possible once the cross-chain contracts come on the new upgrade of Secret Network. But right now, you'll probably need to build some centralized system to do the swap for you automatically and then buy the NFT.
Thank you very much for your answers, guys.
Awesome. We got some time still till the top of the hour, so developer. I see it now spelled out in your profile. Go for it.
Yeah, hey. Hey everybody. Quick question. First I would like to ask what was the code for the NFT mint or the badge mint?
The one for today's secret spaces, the code is very, very hard to guess. It's just Stashh. Make sure you use the 2 H's though.
Okay, thanks. And then I have a question about if I have a Juno contract, can I use badges to basically have the privacy to prove ownership with the badges?
You'll need to basically bridge the NFT to Secret Network to have that feature specifically. And yeah, just like we talked about a little bit a while ago about bridges and how we are thinking on doing them, it mostly to primarily come from the actual creator of that collection at Juno, to actually create a collection on Secret Network and then allow people to transfer their Juno NFTs to Secret Network, so you can redeem your Secret NFTs. But yeah, that's probably the only way you can achieve that, is to basically bridge Juno NFT to Secret Network and have all the privacy features that we allow you to have.
Okay, thanks a lot. That's all I have now. Can I reach you guys somehow?
My biggest recommendation, since we're coming to that time of the space, if you're listening to this space and you haven't yet joined the Stashh Discord, join the Stashh Discord. We are active there. You can reach the team. If you follow Stashh, which is just Stashh app, it's linked in this space. The link to the Discord is in the Stashh app space. If you need to talk to anybody at Stashh specifically about secret NFTs, that's definitely the way to go. Otherwise, if you're not yet in the Secret Network Discord more generally, that is at chat.scrt.network. I believe we also set up the link for Stashh at chat.stashh.io. Is that right, Scary?
Yeah, I shamelessly ripped off that idea because it's quite good.
How dare you? It's fine. It's fine. I forgive you, I guess. So yeah, those are the two links. Jump into the Discords. We're active there. We're actually hoping to get much more active there in the very near future. Again, bear market. Let's close with some words of encouragement, right? Bear markets suck for everybody for lots of reasons, because it feels like everything is shrinking, because it feels like all the things that were world changing and super hot are suddenly called into question. And this is bear market number 3 maybe for the secret community, depending on how you kind of calculate them out. We've been an ecosystem for about 5 years now. We know what this is like. We also know what kind of things tend to survive, and it's these kinds of things. It's these kinds of things where we've thought really hard about what value do we actually want users to get on the network beyond just doubling, tripling their money. But like, what do we actually want them doing with Web3 tech? We want them being empowered, feeling empowered as creators, as collectors, as consumers, as gamers, as community members. We want people to have the ability to do more and own more. And that's what privacy by default allows you to do. And secret badges and secret NFTs by larger extension, that's how we're doing it. And it works differently on Secret than any other network. We're in a unique position to survive and thrive in a bear market versus any other network. The last time we went through bear markets, we didn't have anywhere near the scope of technology live on mainnet. We didn't have anywhere near this global of a community. We didn't have so much of what we have today. And even 2 months ago, from a performance perspective, we didn't have what we have today on the network. And there's more coming, especially over the next 2 or 3 months with these mainnet upgrades, with the work Secret Labs is doing for interoperability. So if you haven't started experimenting with Secret, like, now is obviously the time. There's a lot of things that have been called into question in the bear market, but the fundamentals at the core of Secret have not changed even once from the inception of the project. Privacy by default being a better model for decentralized, empowering applications, badges being just one expression of that. So if you want to build something, launch a collection, launch a badge, collect badges, give feedback, or even work in a much more serious capacity, Stashh is hiring. Please get in touch in the Discords, talk to us, or if you have anything you want to do on Secret Network more generally, come into the Secret Discord, get in touch with either Secret Labs, Secret Foundation, any of the validators. We would love to help you guys. And of course, last call to action, become a secret agent. We have tens of thousands of secret agents globally, all contributing to the cause of Web3 privacy. You can go to scrt.network/agents. That's the start of your journey. You better believe secret agents are getting into secret badges. And if you want to earn badges for completing missions, and also, of course, earn much more than badges for working on behalf of the network and behalf of Web3 privacy, Agents is going through a major upgrade and a major overhaul right now. We're so excited to see all the community energy and will come together behind it. So never been a better time to be involved with any of this. Badges, agents, network, whatever. Fuck the bear. Let's keep building. Thank you guys from Stashh for joining today to talk through all these things. Thank you guys for your questions here on stage. Thanks as always to the foundation guys for helping set up the space and promote. Thanks to everybody who attended. Make sure you claim your badge for attending this week's Secret Spaces. We'll be doing these for more Secret Spaces in the future. But this is the OG Secret Spaces badge. Use code STASH to claim them. But, make sure you claim them before they're gone. And of course, that's the only way you're ever going to find out what's inside. All right. But that's the last call to action. Any last words from anybody before we close off this space? Floor's still open for a couple more minutes. Then we'll close this off and we'll catch you next time on Secret Spaces.
Buy Secret. The tech is incredible.
Buy socks. Yeah, guys. Thanks for joining. Thanks for the questions. Again, thanks to the Stashh team for cutting time out of their day when they're not optimizing badges and saving the world. They're here trying to talk everybody through how they can get started with this stuff. So come say hello in Discord. We would love to talk to you.
Cool. Cheers, everyone. Have a good one.
Thanks a lot, everyone.
Cheers and bye.